Hello and welcome to Okawa Book Club. I'm your host, John. Today, we'd like to discuss Master Okawa's latest book, Words to Read in Times of Illness, which came out on September 15th. This book contains 100 healing messages of light, and they are all filled with uplifting and inspiring sentences that are a great read whether you are ill or healthy or anything in between. In my opinion, really makes an excellent gift for somebody in your life who you just want to give something that is going to maybe feel inspiring for them, invoke a sense of gratitude, a sense of self-reflection. And it's not like buying someone an encyclopedia. It's a very simple book to read where there is one profound statement on each page. So with that considered, I thought it would be interesting to read through a few of the proverbs in this book that stood out to me. So the first one is really, there's two. There's 18 and 19, which they are on facing pages. And 18 is, be thankful that your life began with love. And this is such a profound statement because it was an act of love that resulted in us being born, and on multiple levels. It was the love between our parents, it was the love from God, and the love of our soul to come into this world with some type of a benevolent purpose, which we may or may not be aware of. And so there's so many layers of profound truth to this. And it's beautiful because reading this, especially like on a difficult day, can kind of redirect your thoughts and your mindset and into something more gracious and positive. And then 19, immediately after that, is when you're in a fight with someone, remember that you are still alive. Be thankful for this. And I thought this was profound as well, because when I think conflict is inevitable in our lives, we all experience conflict. It doesn't feel good unless we enjoy it. But for most of us, I think it doesn't feel good because the truth of at the core of our soul is that we are more interconnected than not. We're all part of one thing. We're all children of God and Buddha. And so when we're fighting with one another, and sometimes it's necessary to fight, but nonetheless, it doesn't necessarily feel good. But remembering that we're still alive and experiencing the gratitude for that can keep us going through it. And sometimes it's just those simple truths and those simple reminders can go a long way, and we need to hear them. Another one I really liked was number 55. We can see things with our eyes. This is something to be thankful for, even if we need to wear glasses or contact lenses. And as a person who wears glasses, I often find myself getting very frustrated with having to clean them nonstop because there's just dust in the air, and so several times throughout the day there'll be a smudge or a spot or something like that. And these sometimes we go through our days and these little things can be immensely frustrating. And yet at the end of the day, I still have my vision, and it's a beautiful thing. I hope everybody listening does have their vision, but imagine not having it. Imagine having to go through the world blind. It must be such a challenge for people who have to go through the world that way. So, if we have to clean our lenses or wear contacts every day, it's still not so bad. And if we don't even have to do that, then even better in a way. But I think the underlying message is just gratitude for the simple faculties we have and our ability to just do basic, simple things that are central to our lives that we, more often than not, are probably taking for granted. And the next, number 56, is we can breathe on our own through our nose. Even if we cannot do so now, we were once able to. This is truly a blessing. So I can imagine that if a person were to read this who was hospitalized and perhaps on a respirator, it would have an especially profound meaning. But even if you are perfectly healthy, it's a reminder to breathe. It's a reminder of the blessing of being able to breathe and the divinity in that, and the way that divinity is touching upon our physical form through breathing, which breathing is so central in all religious and spiritual traditions. It always has been. And I think there are many profound reasons for that, which really speaks to, I think, in this book, the layers of truth that are in it. How, like, we can read it in a very simple way, which is good, and I think often probably going to be the best way to read it, to be honest, because I think the simple things are probably sometimes the best. But at the same time, if we want to contemplate and go a little deeper, we can think about things like how the breath is central to the nature of our soul and the way it interfaces with the human physical body. And I think the last one I wanted to briefly discuss was number 48. And it was, if all this time you have only been thinking about money, now think about the mind. And I think that this one is so profound because most of us are thinking about money in one capacity or another throughout our days, whether we're thinking about how to get more of it, we're worrying about not having enough of it, or both, and thinking how we don't want to spend it or how we do want to spend it. And we're usually not thinking about the mind that is thinking all of those thoughts. And that is more central because that is at the core of what's directing money, that's at the core of what's contemplating money. So, like, I think in our civilization that we live in, we make money very central as though it's the only reality. And while it is one important reality in our lives, the nature of our mind and understanding our mind and the spiritual significance of that is equally crucial, if not more so, because that will come with us after we die and the money will not. So I thought that was a profound proverb to reflect on. Words to Read in Times of Illness is available at major bookstores, including Barnes & Noble and Amazon. For more information, please visit okawabooks.com. That's it for today, and thank you for listening.